Hello and welcome in the third video of the sectors of the Indian economy. We have uploaded so far two videos on the sectors of the Indian economy. So if you have not watched that video, I will request everyone to watch that video first. So in the last video, we had discussed about the differences between the organized and the unorganized sector. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the protection, the ways of the protection to how to protect the workers in the unorganized sector. In the last video, we had discussed that how the people working in the unorganized sector face a lot of difficulties in earning income. They don't have fixed income, even they don't have the security of their jobs. Even if they fall ill, their income is stopped. So the people working in the unorganized sector face many kind of difficulties in their job security, in their regular payment, in their regular work. So what can be the role of the government to save them, to provide relief? How the government can provide relief to the workers working in the unorganized sector? So in this video, we are going to discuss about the role of the government to protect the workers working in the unorganized sector. So let's understand those key points. So the government can fix the minimum wages and rate for the working hours Even in the private sector, even in the unorganized sector, for the workers, the government can fix the he can fix the minimum wages, that this should be the minimum wages for a mason or a plumber, and the working hour, that the human working hour cannot exceed more than 8 hours. So everything is in the hand of the government. If the government thinks, he can protect the workers in the unorganized sector by making laws. So this is the first one. The government can fix the minimum wages rate and the working hours. So the next one is that the government can provide cheap loan to the self-employed people. The people who are self-employed, like the rickshaw pullers or the mason, the workers, the hawkers, the government can provide cheap loan to start their own business, and the people who are self-employed. So these are the two main ways to protect the workers in the unorganized sector. So let's try to find out the other ways. The government can provide cheap and affordable basic services like education, health and food to these workers. So in the first video, we had discussed about the PDS system, the public distribution system. So the public distribution system is the process to distribute the ration all over India by fair price shops, the health by providing government hospitals. The government can provide health facility, the basic and affordable health facility to the common people. And the another one is the education. By building more and more the government schools, the government can provide free education to the common people. So I hope that this is clear for everyone. So let's discuss about the next one. The government can frame new law which can provide provision for overtime, paid leave due to sickness, etc. So the government can also make new laws by which the people in the unorganized sector will get the overtime or leave pay or leave due to sickness. So these are the main ways. These are the main methods in the hands of the government by which the government can protect the interest of the workers working in the unorganized sector. Now the sector in terms of the ownership. Ownership means the owner, it means the master, the malik, who is owning the thing, the master. So the sector in terms of the ownership. So according to this, there are two main sectors, public sector and the private sector. So the public sector means the sector owned by the government itself, like SBI, State Bank of India, is completely a private sector. The post office is completely a private sector. It is owned by the government itself. The post office, the army, Army is also entirely owned by the central government. The police is also entirely owned by the central government. So the people who are working under this, they are under the private sector and they are the private employee. They are under the public sector and they are the government employee. Another one is the private sector, like Tata. The Tata employees are the private sector employees. The Birla employees is also the private sector employees. So the Tata, Birla, Goenka, so these are called the private sector employees in India. So let's understand about these into detailed manner. So the government own most of the assets and provide the services. Another one, the ownership, the government employees is under the public sector. I hope it is clear for everyone. So now let's understand about the basic differences between the public sector and the private sector. In the public sector, the government owns most of the assets and provide all the services. So all the services and the assets are under the control of the government itself. The government itself control the public sector. Under the private sector, ownership of the assets and the delivery of service is under the hand of the private individual or the companies. Railway and post office is the example of the public sector, which I have said just now. The companies like Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited, TISCO, or the Reliance Industries Limited, RIL, are privately owned companies. The purpose of the private sector is not just to earn the service, but the main aim of the public sector is to provide welfare of the people, improvement of the people, and that is why the government provides schools, the government schools, the government hospitals for the welfare of the people. But the private sector is guided to earn the benefits, to earn motive, to earn profit. So earning profit is the primary motive of the private sector. They are not working for the welfare. The main objective of the private sector is to earn profit. So I hope that the differences between the private sector and the public sector is clear for everyone. So you can write down, if a question comes, describe two differences between public sector and the private sector. I hope that you will be able to learn it. Now let's discuss the main responsibilities of the government. Now we are going to discuss the main responsibilities of the government for welfare of the people. What the government can do, which will target both the sectors, the organized sector and the unorganized sector, the private sector as well as the public sector. What the government can do for the welfare of the people overall. So here there are some methods which are there by which the government can help all the people in the country. The government can raise money through taxes and other ways to meet the expenses on the service rendered by it. Now, as we know that the government runs the schools, the government schools for the welfare of the people, the government hospitals to provide basic facilities, health facilities to the people of India. So how to run these? The government can collect money through the taxes to meet the expenses of these welfare activities. Second one, the government have to undertake heavy services like the construction of the road. The private company, the private company or the private sector can't build roads. It cannot afford this kind of heavy spendings in the infrastructure of India. So it is the government only which can undertake these works, bridges, railway, harbors, generating electricity, providing irrigation through dams, and also these are the welfare things which target all the people. On the road, every people will move, and it will also provide easy transportation for all the people of India. So it is the responsibility of the government to take the heavy spending like the construction of the road and the bridges and the railway. So it is the responsibility of the government itself. third one, there are some activities which the government can support to encourage the private sector to continue their production and the service. The government will work as a guardian for the protection of the interests of its people in general. So what it can do, the most important thing is the agriculture sector. So in the agriculture sector, through fair price, it can buy the wheat and the crop directly from the farmers and sell at the lower price to the consumers through ration shop. In this way, it supports both the farmers and the consumers. There are people called BPL, that means the below poverty line. So we need to support these BPL service, these BPL people, because they are below poverty line, they are very poor. So the government provide crops to the BPL people through ration shops or fair price shops. So what is the meaning of the fair price? The government purchase the crops from the farmers. It is also called MSF, like minimum support price, MSP. It is called the fair price. Suppose the government is suppose the farmers are not getting adequate income by selling their crops. The merchants are paying low money, very less money to the farmers after purchasing their crops. So the farmers are being exploited. So farmers should be happy, because majority of the people in India are engaged in the agriculture activity, and agriculture is called the backbone of Indian economy. So we have to save the agriculturists, we have to save the farmers. So what the government do? The government buy the crops like wheat and rice from the farmers at the fixed price, which is called the fair price, which is called the minimum support price. It is the minimum price which government is purchasing. If the farmers are getting more money by selling the same crops to the another merchant, they can sell. So the minimum support price is the guarantee given by the government to the farmers. If the farmers are not getting adequate money, they can directly sell to the government. That is called the minimum support price. Next one, I hope it is clear, minimum support price. So let's move to the next point. Running proper schools and providing quality education, health and educational facilities to all are the duty of the government. The basic health and education is the primary responsibility of the government. It is the basic facility which is given by the government to the common people. Because if we don't have health, the people will die, the poor people will die. If we don't have government hospitals, then the poor people will suffer and poor people will die, because they cannot afford heavy health facilities and education. The costly education the poor people cannot afford. So it is the responsibility of the government to provide free health and education to the poor people. So the next one, I hope it is clear. So next one is the government needs to pay attention to the aspects of human development, like safe drinking water. Safe drinking water can provide only government. If the government don't provide safe drinking water, the health of the people will be in danger. The housing facilities for the poor, like Indira Awas Yojana. Under Indira Awas Yojana, many houses were given to the common people, poor people, taking care of the poorest and most ignored regions of the country. So taking care of the poor is the responsibility of the government, because the private sector, recently we have studied that the motive of the private sector is to earn profit, but only government can take care of the interest of the poor and ignored people of our country, ignored regions of our country. So I hope that this is clear for everyone and nobody has any kind of doubt. So thank you for watching the video and being with me. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you.